Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, My Wife is Not the Woman I Used to Know. She Let the Fame Get to Her. And guys, this story, which I found online earlier today, this is all about a guy, sounds like he's in his early to mid-30s, give or take. He is a paramedic, and long story short, he is kicking his wife to the curb after knowing her for like 16 years because she's done a complete 180 in the person that she used to be. Or maybe this is who she was all along deep down. You're going to see, guys, that he's been with her, like I said, for a long time, thought he really had a good thing going, and then his wife, who he described as someone that was always frugal, unmaterialistic, good to him, got herself a major promotion, got herself a great opportunity where she had her salary increased like fourfold, where she was making clearly a ton of dough. And her treatment of him changed like that, where she started talking down to him, treating him like crap, etc., etc. She became overnight obsessed with clothes, handbags, purses, cars, all that, and started making him feel like he was absolutely less than her and garbage, all that. Got to the point that he is freaking done. And I thought this would be a very good one to go over here, guys, just to show you once again how the narrative that goes around nowadays, that a guy can have his wife or girlfriend, whatever, make a lot more than him, or maybe she could be the breadwinner and he's a stay-at-home dad with the kids, and that will work out just fine. Well, sadly, this, as well as many other stories I've done, which maybe you guys have heard, it doesn't exactly work out that way. Because at the end of the day, most women, I'm saying, because you can't say all, but most, want a guy that is, in their opinion, on their level. Preferably who does better than them so they got a prize. So if she makes 200 grand a year, she'd love a guy that makes 350 or 400. She'll settle, he's making 200, but preferably he's making more, etc., etc. So if her guy's making 50 and she's making 200, 300 a year, a lot of times, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're holding me back, or you're not on my level, that type of thing. Even if he does a very honorable job like this guy as a paramedic, saving lives, etc., etc. So just an important thing for you guys out there do relationships, be aware if you get into a relationship where it's like, well, she makes a lot more money, so, everything will be okay. Not always the case. So it starts off, he says here, I know I probably won't get anything meaningful from Reddit, but at this stage of my life, I don't have a single soul to talk to. Well, that's really sad, dude. I met my wife when I was 15 years old in high school. She was 17. That later part of my teenage years was probably the hardest in my life, since in half a year I lost my mother. I never knew my dad, so she was the only thing I could consider family. Oh, that poor young guy. At that time, me and my wife were only friends, but she was there for me and agreed with me. I think I started developing feelings for her during that time. We started dating when I was 17, and we got married 7 years later. For context, my wife was a very frugal and unmaterialistic girl. Okay, you're hearing it right here. Frugal and unmaterialistic. She never cared about clothes, makeup, brands, cars, etc. Always spending money on the thrift shops or during sales or whatever she liked. I remember trying to impress her with my 370Z just for her to react with the, what car is this, a Corolla? So yeah, I think you get the type. But that's what I liked about her the most. And also, she was the most caring person I ever knew. Okay, so far, he sounds like he got himself a catch. But clearly, either the big promotion changed her, or deep down that's who she was all along. I don't know. I can't see how you can go your whole life pinching pennies and buying things on sale and going thrift shops and all that, and all of a sudden, but deep down wanting way more. I don't know. In our family, she's the successful one. Always working in big corporations. Regarding myself, I always worked as a community first responder for my local hospital. The salary wasn't high, but I loved my job helping people as I could. And you know what? In a perfect world, even though he says he doesn't make a lot of money, a good woman who would truly love him for that. Love him because he's passionate about his job, loves helping people, he's a hero, all that. And she can make more than him, and everybody's happy. Unfortunately, that is not the world we live in. Says here, fast forward 2 years ago, she received an offer from an important company for an executive position, offering 4 times her salary. And let me tell you, her salary wasn't bad by any means. 4 times her salary? Holy crap. But we would have to move to a different city. At first, I was doubtful, since that would mean losing my job and not being sure if I could have contributed financially to our family for an indefinite time period. But she said she could have sustained the family effortlessly with this new job, and for that time, I could have looked after the house and groceries. So, okay. Again, in a perfect situation, holy crap. She's getting 4 times her pay, what she's making now. Obviously, what she makes would more than cover everything. In a perfect world, everybody would be happy. Unfortunately, we have to see how things go to hell in a handbasket here. She was so enthusiastic, I accepted, and I was happy to support my wife's career. Well, no good deed goes unpunished. Well, the best way I can put this is my wife underwent a crazy transformation. Some Jekyll and Dr. Hyde type of thing. Some Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing. If you know what I mean. She started caring more and more about luxury brands, jewels, cars, etc. I don't think you can quite imagine my disbelief seeing her coming back with her Versace bag after seeing her for 4 years wearing $10 coats from our local thrift shop. So I have to wonder what her coworkers are like. The female coworkers, the clients they deal with. I'm going to guess with that type of executive position, the company wants her to put off a certain image, so I can kind of get a certain work attire, when she's on the job. Fair enough. But it's obviously more than that. She also started hanging out with her new female coworkers a lot. Ding, ding, ding. What'd I tell you about who your girl hangs out with? Her friends or coworkers. Female coworkers. My wife isn't very extroverted or very social, so that was quite the shock, but I was very happy for her. I thought that she finally found her dimension after years of struggling. So you can see this is a good guy. He's happy for her. She got the promotion, happy she's doing well, because obviously she's a woman on her grind, all that. Fair enough, but you're going to see what happens to him. But that happiness started fading after she started coming home way later at night. And later, until it was a miracle to be able to talk to her for 10 minutes a day. That is not cool. I get she's on the job and she's got to dedicate her time and everything like that, but this guy picked up and moved for her to a different city or a different part of the country. There's got to be balance. Because I guarantee if the situation was reversed and he was at working all the fucking time, she'd want some time with him too. She's showing him through her actions that he's less and less important to her. Until it was a miracle to be able to talk to her for 10 minutes a day. I thought it was very busy with work, since being an executive means lots of work, until she started posting lots of photos of her with her coworkers drinking, going shopping, and stuff. So she barely has time to talk to him during the day, but she's got all the time in the world to take pictures of her coworkers out drinking and shopping and posting them online for the world to see. You can see why he said this is like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, because he said that she was not like this before. And I want to point out, I think because he's known her so long, and this was such an overnight transformation, he's in such shock and disbelief, that's why he's kind of sticking around longer than he should as to where this is going to go. The fun part is, she never finds time to reply to my text, but she always has a minute to take pictures and post photos. And when she replies to me, she says she's working. Again, actions say everything. If she's got time to do all that bullshit, she can certainly talk to him and respond to his messages. This is when he should be certainly laying down the law with her, having a talk. But you can see her respect for him went down the gutter around the same time she got a massive promotion and she's making all this money. Meanwhile, he is, with her idea, he's not even working. He's at home, taking care of the groceries, taking care of the dog, taking care of cleaning up the house. He is essentially a Mr. Mom without any kids. And I bet you her coworkers are giving her a lot of shit about that. You can do better. You deserve better. She also literally stopped saying things to me altogether. Have you ever experienced your wife or husband going to work with an Audi A3 and then coming back home with a Porsche? Well, I did. And let me tell you, it's no fun. I confronted her on it as if it was a business issued car, which it wasn't, and then on why she spent so much money on a car when she didn't even care even a little bit about cars. Her passive aggressive response was that it's her money and she's entitled to do as she pleases. Isn't it funny how it's like, if it's the man's money, then it's the family money. But if it's her money, it's her money. Or have you experienced not seeing your wife or husband coming back at night and not replying to a text just to receive a call the following afternoon saying that she forgot to tell you that she left for a business trip? Well, I hope you haven't. You mean to tell me she would just not come home and not even say anything? Now, in my view, I see this as her treating him like shit because in her mind, she's so much better and deserves better, and hopes that he'll break up with her. That's what a lot of women do. They'll treat their guy like such dog crap, hoping he'll break up with her so she doesn't have to do it, and then can be blameless and complain and all that. And what happens usually is that the guy doesn't do it until then she just treats him worse and worse and worse, and finally she does it. Talk about disrespect. This guy needs to lay down the fucking law with her. But the worst is when she invited me for lunch with her coworkers. I was very happy because this was the first time we were doing something together in months. Smack. You should never allow that shit to happen. She's giving you table scraps. Oh, come meet me and my coworkers, who she'll probably look down upon him the whole time. And I thought that was what I experienced before, what only a phase, and that was all. It all ended. My wife left first because she had work to do, so I dressed up nicely and left 2 hours after to the scheduled restaurant. For context, I sold years before my 370Z because I didn't need a sports car anymore. So my daily driver is a very frugal Renault, and I like it. And since I don't need it very much, I don't have reasons to upgrade to a pricier model or brand. Well, I get to the restaurant, park my car in front of it, get inside just to see my wife staring at me like a horror-stricken woman. She gets up from the table and takes me outside the restaurant and then proceeds to literally insult me for parking my Clio in front of the restaurant and in front of her table, saying that I embarrassed her and that I should have parked it somewhere hidden. What a freaking asshole. He should have picked up his shit and walked out of there and said, adios. Not happening. She knows the car he drives, and it was never a problem up until this point. And where else do you expect him to park it? Do you expect him to take an Uber over there? She's just looking for a fight. I was completely at a loss for words. I asked her why, and she said it was a cheap, non-luxury car, not representative of her lifestyle. Suck on this, wifey. She then gets back inside the restaurant, warning me not to embarrass her like this again. Who the fuck does she think she is? Again, you can see this guy is just beside himself. It's like, who is this? Because, again, according to him, she didn't behave this way at all this time he knew her. But she gets a big promotion, and look, you've heard the stories I've done, guys. There's a common theme here when these gals all of a sudden make way more money than their guy does. That day I realized that the girl I had on my side wasn't my wife. It wasn't the girl I married anymore. She's not. Time to cut your losses, man. Life is too fucking short. And by the way, you have no job, and she has a very high-paying job. So you get a divorce, guess who's paying you alimony? Her. My wife is now out of the house, celebrating a great year for the company, and I'm here at home writing this with the divorce papers in front of me. Good, dude. I don't think I can handle this situation anymore. I tried lots and lots of time to talk to her, to tell her how I feel, to tell her that she's changed, that she's not the same woman I knew. But she just doesn't listen. She just doesn't give a shit. It's over for her. She just wants to wear you down till you do exactly what you're doing. She always says she has no time and she needs to work, or she tries to minimize the situation, saying that it's not true and that she's never changed. In other words, it's all in your head. It's your fault, not mine. She wanted kids, now she doesn't want them anymore, saying that it would rob her time and from her career. She wanted to travel, and now she doesn't want to, for the same reason. Is she really the same woman I married? No, she's not. And I'm willing to bet you there is another dude in the picture, a guy that she feels is on her level. Probably her boss. But still, I can't bring myself to talk about divorce with her. Most likely because I hope that somewhere hidden inside of her, there's still the woman I loved and still love. Even if it doesn't seem like the case. She's gone, bro. And you know what? Even so, the way she's been treating you, you don't want to be married to that. You need to divorce her ass, get your nice alimony checks every week, every month, get part of the assets, and move back to where you were from and get that job back that you loved and do things that make you happy. That's what you should do. Now for an update with wifey. He says, first of all, I would like to thank everyone who reached out to me in the comments or the DMs. I really appreciate it, and it helped me retaining my composure and mental clarity. I'm sorry I couldn't reply to all of you, but I tried to read everything, and I really appreciate all of you. Well, after that business party, my wife didn't come back home. God, she's unbelievable. I tried contacting her since I was worried, but she didn't pick up the phone, not even once. She came back home in the morning, exactly when I was about to leave her workplace, to ask about her. No respect. None. She's just dying for him to break up with her. Where do you think she was the whole night? Divorce. I asked her what happened, and she said she stayed at this female co-worker's house since she drank a lot and she was in no condition to drive. I told her she could have sent a text to warn me and that I would have gone to get her. Her response was, with the Clio? I stood there in silence, and she later said that she forgot about warning me. I asked how she was feeling, only to be answered in monosyllables. We mind our own business for a while, and then she comes to me and says she has something to discuss about. I tell her that I have something as well to discuss with her too. And well, wouldn't you look at that? She asked for a divorce. See? All along. She probably at that point figured, God, I keep treating this guy like dog shit, and he won't divorce me. So fine, I'm going to have to do it. At least it's not a shock to him. I wasn't expecting that at all. We were. I asked her why, and her reply was that after talking to her friends, she understood that I wasn't fit for her to be her husband, and we have different values and different lifestyles, and that she deserves a man of similar worth compared to her. There you go, guys. Yet another story exactly what I talk about. The narrative doesn't work, that she can make a bunch more and her guy can be the Mr. Mom at home or have a less paying job but an honorable one. Nope. And how the female co-workers can get in her head. Now here's the deal. She's 2 years older than him, so probably in her mid-30s. Unless she is damn good looking, good luck her finding a guy that, in her view, is a prize when he can get gals much younger. But she'll come to learn that one day. I'm going to be completely honest, that was a low blow. But I just smiled at her. I tried talking to her, proposing to separate for a while to see how things go. I even proposed couples therapy like someone suggested. Smack. No, it's over, dude. But she was dead set on it. So I calmly told her everything I need to say, from the fact that I was thinking about divorce to the fact that I felt like she'd changed. Concluding saying that I'm sure she'll find an awesome man since I know her worth, having been her husband for more than 9 years, but that I know what my worth is too. You're damn right you're worth something, man. Absolutely. You are loyal and kind, and as your job as a paramedic, you were heroic and you saved lives. Unfortunately, in her view, because the dollar signs don't match hers, therefore you're less than her, etc., etc. And remember, this is the gal who was frugal his whole life and thrift shops, and you get the point. We decided to separate for the moment, and we will arrange the divorce later on, since she has no time now. But we have a verbal agreement on some things. I would get things in writing. I decided to go back to my hometown to relax and decide what's next for me. I should be able to regain my previous position in the hospital, but it's all to see. Also, one of my friends there offered to host me until I found housing. I'm really grateful to him. Good. Go back to where you're happy. Get that job back again. But I understood that my wife couldn't care less about me when the lengthiest discussion we had concerned who was taking the dog. For context, we got him a month after moving, since she always wanted one and kept me some company. But in 2 years, she probably spent the equivalent of 2 hours with him. I always took care of the dog, and he's been more than a loyal companion to me in those 2 years. Then he's your dog. End of fucking story. She literally made a fuss about the fact that I couldn't take the dog with me for maybe half an hour or so. I told her that I didn't care at all. I was taking him with me since she doesn't have the time to care for him, and it was very strange for her to say those things when she didn't care not even a bit about him for 2 years. Yeah, she was probably just had a bug up her ass that they want to stick it to you a little bit. But remember, I don't see how she's not going to be paying him decent alimony checks because she makes way more than him because he actually doesn't have a job. You're not taking my dog, lady. Not a chance in hell. So I packed the necessary, and before leaving, I asked her if she was cheating on me, and she denied. Bullshit, but you know what? At this point, fuck it. You're splitting up. And I will trust her on that. I read a lot of people in the previous post talking about hiring a PI, but I'm not going to do that. I trust what she said, and even if it wasn't the truth, I honestly don't want to hear anything about it. It would only make me feel worse. It says, I feel calm, but inside I feel like I've lost an important piece of myself. Well, you've been with her for half your life, so that's understandable. And probably the hardest thing is him wondering, is this who she was all along, or this person who I thought was a great person, or wasn't, but she changed because of all this bullshit? Who knows? But I'm trying to focus on the nicer thoughts, like meeting one of my old friends, which I haven't seen in a long time. I'm still trying to process everything. It all happened so fast. Though I must say that seeing my dog so happy inside the Clio brightened up my mood a lot. He loves car rides. Good for you for fighting for that dog. And that dog, unlike your wife, that dog will be loyal to you to the end. You could be freaking making minimum wage over at the freaking local grocery store, and that dog will love you and be with you all the time. Even if things went down this road, I still wish her all the best. I can never forget what she did back for me, and in general, in those 16 years spent together as a couple. Dude, let's not get carried away now. Your wife's an asshole. I may do another update in the future about how things went, but for now, goodbye. I'll take some time to focus on myself and the upcoming divorce. Again, thanks to everyone, and take care. So, I'm glad to see that this guy is ending this on a note where he's not begging her to come back and having a meltdown and all that. He's accepted the hard reality, because again, half his life he spent with her. His mom died when he was young. His dad died when he was young. So she was his whole life, which is a bad idea to put all your stock in another person, let alone a woman. But, you know, it's unfortunate. But look what happened there. Talk about a unfortunate stereotype. Makes a ton of money, and all of a sudden the guy's now just scum to her and just a joke. The way she was treating him, he should have never put up with half that shit. 90% of that shit. But I think it happened so fast, he was just such disbelief, like, who the hell is this? But there you go. And I would not be surprised if down the road, when she's not able to get someone on her level, someone who she deserves, guess who you think she'll be reaching out to? And I just hope this guy has enough good sense to say, no, you had your chance. I found somebody better, someone that actually isn't like you and all that, and go from there. Or he's single. It's just him and his dog for a long time. He's perfectly happy doing that. We shall see. So I'll keep an eye out for any updates to see how this whole thing turns out. But anyhow, guys, lots of lessons there. For you relationship guys, be careful. Be careful. You meet a gal who's making a lot more than you. That's certainly possible nowadays. And tries to sell you on the idea of like, you don't need to have a job. You can stay home with the kids and I'll love you the same. Or it doesn't make a difference. I love you no matter how much you make. We'll see about that. Again, doesn't mean that all of them are like that, but unfortunately in today's world, you've heard the stories and they show what happens. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.